Hello, like she said, my name is Tammy Cook, and the first thing we want to talk about is take a look at what the autism spectrum is, and how the students with autism need their own space. The many kids that's on the spectrum have sensory issues, so we designed a sensory input room. So that what that means is some of these students have they either are sensory seeking, or they are trying to avoid some sensory, like the lights, the noise, or uh, or singing, or a child may be extremely sensitive to some noise. So sometimes we use like canceling headphones, and the main important thing about this project was to actually have a sensory input room for them, a place where they could go to feel safe and to calm them and keep them from having meltdowns, is what we call them. So they have this proprioception of where they don't feel like their body is in space. And so if they go to a swing, or they find that spinning in order to feel regulated. So we have a sensory processing these in the sensory room for a safe place for them to go to. We find that if they have these rooms, that it's a bonus to help them in other skills such as fine and gross motor, and help them to develop in any other area that they may need to, if we have some of these things available for them. So the next slide, please. So in this sensory room that we have at West Whitesburg Elementary, you'll see that this is controlled by the students. This is an environment that's for them. We have therapists that help us, and each student with autism is one student. When you've met one student, you met one student with autism, so they all have different needs. And so the therapists help us also to see which one and what they need in that room. And then the students is also controlled by the student. So the first one, the speech is, Kobe knows who these people are, and that's Miss Pam, our speech therapist, and she's using the room right now in the swing for teaching some speech sounds. And we can hear that if we can go ahead and push play. You can hear her. Well, can we hear the sound? No, we can't. Okay. And so she's doing some sounds that child's working on while they're in the swing. And then the next one, if you can click on that one, that's me and a student. And this is, he's a nonverbal student, and he will use his words to control that swing. So he'll tell me to stop. If he tells me to stop, I'll stop him. And then if he tells me to push, I'll push. It's all on his command. And we find if we use the things that they like or that they need at that time, that it will help them. So you can go to the next slide. We put a projector in this room, and they also in control of what that will be. So sometimes the fluorescent lights is too much in a room, so we cover those. But if in some cases that still lighting or sound and stuff is too much, they can go into this room, and this can calm them. They can also use light as a resource. And so we can put the right kind of sensory in to help them to come back to do the task at hand. So we can go ahead and change it to the next one, please. So you can see that after using a multisensory environment, it's a great way to calm them and comfort them in this visual engagement. And we have that after they went into this room with a projector and the swings, and their therapists have told us the things that they need, they'll come back in and do this one. I chose this task here with our occupational therapist, because we cringe sometimes when she comes in the room because we don't like fine motor. And that's the one that we get the most meltdowns from. And so sometimes we find that if we can use that sensory environment in the input room before fine motor, they can come back and do that with no meltdowns. So the next one, please. So we said in our project that 50% of my students, that their behaviors would decrease 20% if we got to use this sensory input room, if we got to add this in our school. And so we found, so I have 8 students, we took 4 students, and we monitor those for 3 months. So each bar is 3 months, and everyone, and with the students we chose, with the students had the meltdowns, 50%, we reduced those. The first student is with us today, and his behaviors reduced down to 10%, which is a 40% decrease since the last time I was here. And so he goes out to regular class most of the time. I'm going to let him speak to you before he leaves. And then the next student, we found that if we put that on a schedule, the behaviors did decrease, and they're still staying right there. So we got that student regulated with a schedule. The next student, we have reduced down to 40% and then on down to 20%, so we still see some reduction, and it's also been added to their schedule. The last student, we saw behaviors increase at first. We were concerned. They actually loved the sensory room and wanted to go there a little bit more than what was on schedule, and sometimes wanted to escape from work to go to the sensory room, but we did find after we got that regulated and back on the schedule that it also worked to reduce behaviors with them also. So next slide, please. So students to return to class ready to work and complete the task at hand. And this is Kobe Bailey. We've seen that the progress in the 50% of students use the multi-sensory room to calm down before work or to use it as a highly preferred area to go after completing their work. So we're going to introduce you to Kobe Bailey. And he can tell you what he likes about school.
I love PE and I love library. And I love art, and I love science, and I love outside, and I love science. And don't forget sensory room.
And don't forget the sensory room.
And this is a space sensory room trying to the gravity.
And Kobe was a number